welcome to another Breakfast by the Bay. My name is Jen. Behind the camera here is Captain Eric, and we're really excited to have you out here today down on our docks at our bay center in Providence. We're gonna pull up some traps here and see if we caught anything interesting. I'm just gonna wait another minute to give folks some time to hop on, and we'll give you a nice little view of what we see down here at our location. But if you can hear us and you can see us okay, just give us a comment and let us know everything's working properly, and we'll get started soon. I am getting the head nod from Captain Eric, so it looks like we're ready to get started. Thanks all for tuning in with us today for a Breakfast by the Bay. Again, my name is Jen, and we have Captain Eric here as well. And we're ready to pull up some traps here. So we've got all of our equipment here. I'd like to kind of run through it and show you all what we're using. We'll start over here with our trap. So this trap has these head funnels that go right in. That's how all your creatures are going to get their wing right inside. Once they get inside here, this is known as the parlor. So this is where they're going to hang out while they're caught here in this trap. It's pretty simple for us to open. There are some latches on the side here, so we can just unhook those and pull it up. So I'm going to do that with the one that we have set in the water behind me, and then we'll figure out what we've caught and do some IDing.
Okay. Go. Sorry, a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but I think we're back.
You can see we have some growth on this trap. This trap's been in for a little over a month, I would say. So we do have some seaweed, some algae species that are growing on it. Pull it up, see what we have. Whew. Yeah, so I already have some things that are
Okay. We seem to be having some connection issues. Everybody just give me a thumbs up if you're still in here. All right.
All right, so here's what I have pulled just from things that are escaping our trap. And I'm going to open it up in just a second. I just want to make sure I get everybody off the dock first. Whoa, there we go.
All right.
Struggling to open this here.
So, Captain Jen's just trying to get the trap open here now. There we go.
Great.
All right.
Cool. Nice big one here. See if anything's on the other side over there. Another crab here. Oops. Anything else fell through. Alright, we've got a bunch of snails here too. All right, so not a bad catch today in our trap. We did. All right, so in these 3 buckets are what we've collected in our trap.
That our Wi-Fi out here seems to be a bit of a available, but I think we are back on. Are we back in? Trying to reconnect. Okay. I'm hoping it's good. Do we got it again? Okay, I think we're good.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. But here's a really useful tool that we use a lot during our education programs, whether we're inside the classroom or outside exploring. And this is Save the Bay's Uncommon Guide. It has lots and lots of different species that you may typically find here in Narragansett Bay, starting with some invertebrates, but it also gets into your plant species, and it will get into your fish and your birds and all sorts of other things that you may see or find around Narragansett Bay. So I love this book, and we can use this book to identify things that we find. So start off over here. So we have 2 of these crabs in here so far, maybe 3. Yeah, they're all different sizes. So first we've got a little one and a medium-sized one. And then in our bucket over here, we've got a larger one. And now I can tell that this is a crab called a green crab because you can actually count the spikes on the side of its eye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 means it's a green crab. That's one of their key identifying features. And what is also really helpful is, how do you spell green? G-R-E-E-N. 5 letters in green, just like the 5 spikes on their eyes. So that's a great way to remind yourself how you can identify a green crab. Now, green crabs are not native to Narragansett Bay. They're actually an invasive species that have been around since the 70s, and they are native to Europe.
So would that be the 1970s or the 1870s?
Oh, the 1870s. Sorry about that. But then, let's see what else we have here. We have our fish species. Swimming around in this bucket, it's pretty difficult to catch. We'll get it. All right. So here's a common fish in Narragansett Bay. And the fish that we have here is called a cunner. And you can tell because it has a kind of more of a long pointed snout at the end. It has a nice rounded tail. It has 2 bottom fins, and it has 1 long dorsal fin. So those are some identifying features here of a cunner, which again is a common fish that's found in Narragansett Bay. We'll get this back in the water so it can breathe. Some other things we have here, whoa, guys are fast, are some shrimp. I wouldn't be surprised if this shrimp just jumps right off my hand because they're super quick and they do like to kind of jump around. Oh, there it goes. We have quite a few of those in here. You can see the bottom side of this shrimp. Awesome. Now these shrimp don't get much bigger than this. Typically we can find them a little bit larger, but this is about their average size. And then the last species that we caught in this trap are these snails here. Now these snails are called mud snails. So we have our mud snails, we have our shrimp, we have our green crabs, and we have a cunner. So we had 4 different species of animals found in our trap today, maybe a few of each kind. And so this is great for us to see. We're starting to see the waters warm up here in Narragansett Bay, and as the waters warm up, because our air is warming up with spring transitioning into summer, we're going to see more animals around, and we'll be able to catch more things in our traps.
We had a question from Andrew, and he asked, do shrimp need water to breathe?
Great question. Yes, these shrimp do need water to breathe. They do have gills, so they have to breathe in the water. They're not able to breathe in air. Great question. Thanks, Andrew. I was just going to pull up our thermometer that we've had in here for a few minutes adjusting, just so we can get a look at our water temperature today. It is 58 degrees Fahrenheit today. So that's great, because we would not have found a temperature like that in the winter time. So it's a great sign that our waters are warming up, getting ready for spring and summer, and these animals are, waking up and becoming more active, and we're able to find more of them this time of year.
If I remember correctly, we did some temperature measuring about a month ago, and we were finding it was just under 50 degrees, weren't we?
Yes, we were. So pretty chilly. So that's great. It's already warming up. Captain Eric, if you're still up for it, I think we might walk on over to where one of our other traps are, and we can show you this one. This
Excellent.
next trap has been in the water for quite some time. So it's really impressive to see what's growing on it. So we'll head on over this way. Come follow us. You can see it over there on the dock. We'll make our way around the dock carefully here. And I have quite a few things in my bucket that we pulled from this trap already that I'm excited to share with you. A lot different from what we found in the trap over there.
Now this doesn't look like the same trap that we were looking at before, Captain Jen.
No, so this is a lobster trap. Now lobster traps work a little bit differently.
Boy, it's a beat up lobster trap. Did you guys put that down, or did you find it somewhere?
So this is a lobster trap that we found. This is called a ghost trap. So what happens when people set their traps out is they attach a long line to it with a buoy at the top so that you can go back and find your trap later. Unfortunately, sometimes they become untied or they're not together anymore. And if you can't go and retrieve your buoy, then you're not going to be able to find where you put your trap and haul it back up. So sometimes when we're out trawling on our larger vessels, we sometimes pull one of these up inside of our trawl net because we just happen to stumble upon it as we're trawling. So this was our ghost trap. And we've kind of just been hanging it off the side of the dock here for quite some time, probably a few years. And you can see all of the things that are growing on it. So all of these would be part of a fowling community. So they all grow here. And for the most part, a lot of them are sessile organisms, meaning they will attach themselves here. And this is where they're going to grow and stay for the remainder of their life. So they can't move around, they can't walk around different places. So it's pretty amazing what you can do and what kind of habitat this trap can provide for things. So I'd like to point out some of the things that we found in here. We pulled some of them off earlier. And so the first one you see here are mussels, right? And if you look on our trap, we have a lot of mussels here. Now in Narragansett Bay, we have two different species of mussels. These mussels here are blue mussels. And mussels grow together in large communities like that. And you may be wondering, how is a mussel able to stay attached onto a trap like that? Well, they have these really awesome threads here. They're called byssal threads. And they're actually really strong. And so the mussels will attach their byssal threads, and maybe you can see some in there, Captain Eric, I'm not sure. But they attach their byssal threads to hard surfaces, like sometimes on docks or pilings, or like on our trap like this. And they can hold themselves there, and it allows them to hang on. Let's see what else we have here. So these are another organism called a sea squirt. If you look, they actually will squirt some water out there.
Duh.
Any more? Awesome. So then there's a lot of different species of things called tunicates, which are animals. And a lot of tunicates will, encrust over things. They grow on top of things. They might grow over other shells. They grow on these traps here. So it's another organism that is part of this fowling community. And here we have a red-beard sponge. So it may look a lot like some kind of plant, but this actually is an animal. And they're made up of colonies, so there are lots of individuals all grouped together like that. And they start off sort of just growing flat on top of something, and then they eventually start to grow up until they have almost these finger-like portions of their bodies there. So this is
cool.
our red-beard sponge. And some other things
Ooh.
So you can see this one making a run for it back to the water. These are called clamworms. Clamworms are a segmented worm, and they actually do have a pretty good bite to them. So not something that I typically like to pick up. Oh, I see another one right there. Not something I typically like to pick up very often, but they are super fascinating to look at. And you can see they have all of those appendages.
Is our video working again? We're definitely having connectivity issues out here, but hopefully it's back to working.
How are we doing?
If I can get a thumbs up if the video is back on. Yes, there we go.
All right, so let's just recap with this clamworm real quick. Here's a nice big one. They use those appendages to walk, but another fascinating thing is they actually have gills on their appendages, and that's where they can breathe. Super cool.
Very cool.
All right, so I think that is pretty much everything we have to share with you, and I'll try to recap what we caught, unless you have a question.
We did have one question on our green crabs.
Sure.
Matt wanted to know how big green crabs can get.
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, but the big one that I was showing you was about as big as they get, maybe a little bit bigger than that. But that's pretty much your average size green crab.
Excellent.
So yeah, so we had green crabs. We had the cunner fish. We had some of these blue mussels, and we had the red-beard sponge. We have the clamworms. We had the sea squirts and the tunicates. And what else did we catch in our traps? We had the mud snails as well as the shrimp. So overall, there's quite a few things moving around down here at our base center in Providence. We're right off of Fields Point, right at the upper part of Narragansett Bay. And so it's a great sign for spring to see all these organisms out and around. And it's a great sign for biodiversity. Lots of different species is what we really, really aim to see. That way you know that they're all able to live here together, and the water quality must be pretty right for them to live here. But they also have food sources, and they eat different things, which means there's different things here available for them for food. So high biodiversity is a great sign for Narragansett Bay. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our Breakfast by the Bay. Please tune in again on Monday as we return again at 10 a.m. And if you're able to and you have enjoyed our videos, please consider making a donation to Save the Bay today. Thanks everyone, and have a great weekend.